Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna. Welcome to Pariprasnena Sevaya. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Everyone may kindly repeat these two short mantras. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shri Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Shri Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Shri Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Shri Sarabhyaya Namaha. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam yat kripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome again to our session Pariprasnena Sevaya. Today I would like to briefly share a little bit of information in regards to the Varnashrama College online. We made reference to this quite recent, new initiative actually. And this morning, the devotees who have been designated as program leaders, we have basically 5 program leaders that who will be overseeing actually the development of the Varnashram College in terms of courses. More or less, each program leader is representing a particular faculty. Since we are wanting to focus on the traditional educational system as described in all of our Vedic literatures, we are therefore following that very scientifically designed system, beginning with what is called the 4 basic sciences, or Chatur Vidya, or Char Vidya, the 4 sciences. So therefore, these 4 devotees, I'll just mention again, some of you may know them. Their basic information will be put up on our main website very shortly. So, heading up the faculty of philosophy, which is the first of the 4 Char Vidyas, is Venugopal Prabhu, science of philosophy. Second, science of education, taken up by Bharat Chandra Prabhu. Third science, science of politics or governance, taken up by Yogesh Chandra Prabhu. And the fourth, Doyal Mukunda Prabhu. Fourth science being science of economics, covering land and cows. There's a fifth, we could say science as well, which is especially meant to be supportive to the fourth science, and that is referred to as the science of traditional technologies. There's a really urgent need for us to preserve, protect, and revive various traditional technologies, and the devotee in charge for that department, or that faculty rather, is Hari Kirtan Prabhu. So these devotees will, in the very near future, be contacting those devotees who have already expressed some desire to teach some particular course. And all of the courses will be related and will fit in these 5 larger categories or faculties, and there will be many sub categories as well. We consider this initiative very important. It is meant to fulfill a desire, an expressed desire by our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada to establish Varnashrama colleges in all of our centers all over the world. And without having this knowledge as given, especially in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, in connection with how society is meant to be arranged, organized in the most scientific, natural, and sustainable manner, then, as Prabhupada would often explain, no political system, no social arrangement, no economic system will actually be successful, as we are seeing since so many decades. The whole history of modern development indicates that when we deviate from the established norms. So we are very optimistic, also very enthusiastic, and we invite any of you who may be listening, either yourself or some devotees whom you may know. I wanted to read something very interesting, actually, in the context of this Varnashrama college. It is actually sent by one of our Varnashram college teachers, not in India. This is a Varnashram college that is coming up actually in Ukraine, specifically at a project that is has been named as Mother Farm. Mother Farm is a rural project, maybe a few hours out of Kyiv, which is the capital of Ukraine, and headed by a devotee by the name of Yamunapran Prabhu. And I was fortunate to visit a few times, and in my last visit, last year, 2019, we basically had a soft opening of the Varnashram College. Yamunapran Prabhu, along with other devotees, have been working very hard to have an actual structure where regular courses can be given. So one of the devotees who's, we could say, the local Brahmana who is very well versed in the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, been practicing for many years, and himself loving to preach, loving to chant the holy name as well, very good singer, very much inspiring to other devotees. So his name is Bala Prabhu. He sent a very significant, very important text, which is in the Bhagavatam, but there are so many wonderful purports and instructions that we don't always come across them, or maybe we have read quite some time ago. Since it is dealing with the topic of education, I just want to share it with you. He has just sent it to the new group that we have created on Telegram. This is another point as well. We informed devotees recently how those who are members of the Global Varnasrama Mission group on WhatsApp, that we are all migrating to another forum, which is our program, Telegram, and already some 50 devotees have migrated to this and have been added. Here is the text and wonderful purport given by His Divine Grace. This is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 3, Chapter 12, Text 41. And the beginning of this social institution is based on education, meant for purifying the animal propensities of the human being. I believe that's part of the purport. This is the text here. Vidya danam tapa satyam dharmasyeti padani cha ashramamscha yatha sankyam asjat saha vriti bihi. Translation: education, charity, penance, and truth. These four, education, charity, penance, and truth, are said to be the four legs of religion. And to learn this, there are four orders of life with different classifications of castes according to vocation. Brahma created all these in systematic order. So it is not somebody's invention, as some scholars sometimes would lead us to believe. Here's a nice purport by Srila Prabhupada. The nucleus of the four social orders, brahmacharya or student life, grihastha or householder life, vanaprastha or retired life for practicing penance, and sannyas or renounced life for preaching the truth, is the four legs of religion. The vocational divisions are the brahmanas, or the intelligent class, the kshatriyas, or administrative class, the vaishyas, or mercantile productive class, and the shudras, or general labor class, who have no specific qualifications. All were systematically planned and created by Brahma for the regular promotion of self-realization. That means Varnasrama system as created by Lord Brahma is meant to help individuals and society advance towards self-realization. Student life is meant for acquiring the best education. Householder, family life is meant for gratifying the senses, provided it is performed with a charitable disposition of mind. Retirement from householder life is meant for penance, for advancement in spiritual life, and renounced life is meant for preaching the absolute truth to the people in general. The combined actions of all members of society make the whole situation favorable for the upliftment of the mission of human life. The beginning of this social institution is based on education. Education. Therefore, the first asrama, brahmacharya ashram, emphasis is education, meant for purifying the animal propensities of the human being. The highest purificatory process is knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the purest of the pure. Wonderful text, wonderful purport as given by our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. We'll take a few minutes to read something from our speaking about Varnasrama, ongoing brief reading we are doing here every week. This is chapter number 16, Harnessing Natural Inclination is the title of the chapter, and this is a conversation with a governor in Vrindavan on the 20th of April, 1975. So Srila Prabhupada begins, or before that, the themes of this particular chapter. Varna position to be established by proper training, not by false claims. So as we hear again and again in various purports by Srila Prabhupada, Varna is not according to birth, but according to one's natural qualities. And training helps for these qualities to actually become manifest. Second, the government's responsibility to maintain Varnashram College. So Prabhupada is speaking to this governor on the subject matter actually of Varnashram College. Another theme, natural inclination is already there, but not properly harnessed. And the last, which should be of interest for all of us, village organization is more important than skyscrapers and motor cars. Village organization, more important than skyscrapers and motor cars. So here, Srila Prabhupada begins his conversation. Secular means government's duty is that you call yourself a Hindu, whether you are acting as a Hindu. You call yourself a Muslim, whether you are acting as Muslim. This is government's duty. Government does not say or prefer that you are Christian, it is not good, you become Hindu. No, that is not government's business. You remain your Christian, but government's duty is that whether he is acting as Christian. This is government's duty. Not that you're acting like something else and you're calling yourself Christian. You're acting like a Shudra and you're advertising yourself as a Brahmana. So just like, Prabhupada is referring to quack. Quack means people who are practicing as a doctor, but they're not qualified. If someone writes doctor and without the qualification, that is punishable. You can take a certificate that you have got some experience, the registered medical practitioner. So in other words, there's even a certificate for someone who may not be a doctor to practice to some extent. So character means a class of men there must be, maybe very few, but they are actually men of character. So this is also something extremely important to understand. In the Varnashrama college, although all of the Varnas will be taught, the individuals who are meant to take up the most important responsibilities, who are meant to be the natural leaders in society, will actually be very few. And they are falling rather, in the category of Brahmana, Kshatriya, as well as Vaishya. Just like I'm teaching them no illicit sex, no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication. This is basic principle. Otherwise, where is his character? You're doing all nonsense and still you're proclaiming yourself a Brahmana. This should be stopped. And training college should be there how to make a real Brahmana. It's a little difficult to read, so we'll stop here and go directly to some of the questions that we have received. So today's our 19th session, and we're beginning with question number 58, which is the second question from Guna Avatar Prabhu, who is based in Cambodia, where we are also having some land project, a good large piece of land in Cambodia, and where devotees are reaching out in the local villages, giving basic introduction to concepts of Varnashrama Dharma. So here's the question: how much important is family life in connection to achieve our main goal of life, to go back to Godhead, which is in Srimad Bhagavatam? There is mentioned a lot that family life is like dark well. Please kindly give some light on this. Yes. Andakupam. Family life, we know that there are two types of householders or family, two types of families, two types of grihastas. One is referred to in Sanskrit as grihastha, the other is referred to as grihamedi. Griha means actually home. And depending on the consciousness of an individual, we can either elevate ourselves through the grihastha ashram, or we can actually degrade ourselves through the grihamedi option. So grihamedi means actually one who is not keeping in the forefront the primary goal and objective of life, both individually, which is self-realization, and collective, which is actually to support one another. For children to be born a most suitable atmosphere whereby even before they are born, from the very moment of conception, excuse me, they can become exposed to Krishna consciousness. So there are so many stories, of course, in the Bhagavatam of individuals who have not proper, and the outcome of not being an ideal householder. On the other hand, we also have one of individuals or personalities who, although in family life, were always very committed to the vows of spiritual life, the vows of family life. So, for those who are not able to immediately renounce everything, brahmachari life is meant to train, to become educated, as we read a few minutes ago from this wonderful text and purport in the Bhagavatam. Brahmachari life is to begin this cultivation of knowledge. Of course, in modern day society, the vast majority of people did not, even the vast majority of our own devotees, did not get this opportunity of brahmachari training, brahmachari life. And therefore, that is one of many reasons why, even as devotees, we find it difficult, especially within householder life. If both the husband and the wife are ill prepared to enter family life, naturally there will be so many complications, there will be conflict. Therefore, the importance of receiving both the young boy and the young girl, they would both receive special education, special training for learning about the philosophy of life, number one, and secondly, based on their qualities, natural qualities, to take up some particular activity or profession. Within the Varnashrama college, and this is something very important, because one of the Varnas, or one of the ashramas rather, is the I want to make is that Prabhupada was having these discussions on Varnashrama college as he is his governor. So in one such conversation, that the training for the Varnas is for the boys, for the older boys. And there is a special of training referred to as Sri Dharma. So we cannot artificially not honor these that are given in the Shastra. Of course, the further away we are from the more natural way of living, therefore, more supposed one of the foremost objectives, of education is not only to prepare ourselves spiritually to be guided, that is highest, but understanding our present situation here within the material world, where we are all influenced and to different degrees by the modes of material nature, we must also work towards establishing ourselves and creating a social system that will more easily favor our progress and advance in spiritual life. And this was also mentioned that we just read about village organization. Where was this? Yeah, I think we just read it in the speaking about Varnasrama. This point many times for with the by Gunavatar Prabhu, householder life is actually the norm. The vast majority of individuals within society, because the vast majority of individuals cannot so quickly or immediately renounce activities of sense gratification. Therefore, there is regulated sense gratification within householder life, and if one is fortunate to receive this training, then it will be much easier. Even if one has not received this training, the arrangement made by Srila Prabhupada is that simply by being serious in following the prescribed rules and regulations, being strong in our practice of devotional service, chanting always as attentively as possible, our 16 rounds, hearing on a regular basis, all of the various instructions that are given by our acharyas that are there in the Shastra. These are meant to actually protect us from the very dangerous and heavy influence of the modes of material nature. So yes, in the Shastra it does mention that family life devoid of Krishna consciousness is like falling into a deep well. So therefore we should guard ourselves of doing that by practicing nicely Krishna consciousness. So in this way, various prescriptions that are there, and these are nicely explained again in the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam by Srila Narada Muni. So, to conclude on this point, family life can either elevate us if we nicely follow the prescribed guidelines, or family life can degrade us by allowing ourselves to engage in all kinds of activities of sense gratification. And of course, the most difficult in family life is sex life. Grihamedi, we have explained, Srila Prabhupada explained, how Grihamedi means where, just like in villages, during harvest, there is a post around which the bullocks walk. There is paddy, and by the walking of the bullocks on this paddy, it breaks. It is one of different methods of husking the rice. So this medi or post is compared to the main focus that is there in householder life for those who are not engaged in devotional service. See, we have a propensity to love. We have a propensity to enjoy. If we are not loving Krishna, if we're not enjoying activities of devotional service, then we will seek it elsewhere. And there's only these two things. It's either Krishna or it is Maya. Therefore, we should guard ourselves and always endeavor to be situated in activities of Krishna consciousness. And we can easily do this by following the good instructions given by our founder Acharya, given by our Acharyas as well. We will go to our next question here, which is question number 59 from Swangi here in India. And the question is very often asked by devotees actually. Varnasrama is for normal human being or for devotees only? Or for devotees also, rather. And which one is best and superior, Dharma or Bhakti? Good question, actually. It is often misunderstood that Varnasrama is not for devotees. Varnasrama is for people who don't know about Krishna consciousness. But that is not the verdict of our acharyas. I was quoting recently the statement given by one of our foremost acharyas, Sri Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who explains that this system of Varna and Ashrama is for Vaishnavas who are still in their conditioned state. So we all know how it is not so easy, even after joining as a devotee, even after being initiated as a devotee, even after practicing for so many years, the influence of Maya, Daiviyesha Gunamaya, Mama Maya Duratyaya. Maya is very, very strong, very persistent. And therefore, even as practicing devotees, we need this system of Varna and Ashrama, whereby there are built-in, we could say, practices that help us remain on track, that provide various measures of protection by following the guidelines given in for ashramas and the guidelines given also for the four varnas. So therefore, varnasrama is meant to be taken up. Prabhupada explains that civilized human being, one is considered a civilized human being if he practices or follows the varnasrama system. This has been repeated again and again by Srila Prabhupada. It is there in the Shastra. So therefore, there is an importance for devotees to hear and understand how this can be applied within our own lives as devotees, regardless of where we are living, either in the village or in the city. The basic principles of varnasrama are there for everyone. There is one major difference in that within a rural setting, we can experience more, we could say, more completely the whole spectrum, or the whole the whole of Varnashrama Dharma. And the second part of the question here, whether which one is superior, Dharma or Bhakti? Actually, both are interconnected in that the essence of Dharma and the goal of Dharma is Bhakti. There are three things. When we speak of Dharma, there is the spiritual understanding of Dharma that is referred to as Bhagavat Dharma. Bhagavat Dharma refers to the natural activities of the spirit soul, and those are activities of Bhakti. And the goal and the success of properly practicing Bhakti will be our development of love of Krishna, or love of God. So therefore, Bhakti is an integral part, actually the essential part of Dharma on the spiritual level as well as the material level, because Dharma is not Dharma, but Dharma on times refers to Varnashrama Dharma. So there is a material and the spiritual level, but therefore our speak of Daiva Varnashrama. Daiva Varnashrama as being divine culture. Is our Sanatan Dharma, Varnashrama, and divine culture. And divine culture is also understood as Daiva Varnashrama. As opposed to when that is absent, when the element, when the Bhakti element is absent from Varnashrama, then that becomes Asuric Varnashrama, impure or contaminated, or not the correct Varnashrama. That is also true in terms of spiritual practice. There's so many people all over the world, especially in India, who, India being the land of Dharma, are knowing and have been practicing spirituality. But point to the perfectional stage, spirituality, which is fraught with different levels of impurities. So we are extremely fortunate, devotees of Krishna consciousness, in that our beloved founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada, very similar, we could say, to Narada Muni. Srila Narada Muni is so often referred as the foremost of spiritual leaders because he was extremely well versed in these two levels of Dharma. Srila Narada Muni is expert in terms of bhakti, the science of devotional service, and simultaneously he is expert in the science of Varnashrama Dharma. And we're so fortunate that our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada is also extremely well versed. And if we simply read his purports or hear his classes, we can understand how he spoke so extensively and so profoundly on these two levels. And therefore, it is only when we are able to accept these two levels of dharma, the spiritual and the material, when we're able to balance these two levels of dharma, that we can actually create a favorable and most ideal situation for our individual as well as collective advancement in spiritual life. And therefore, this is something that needs to be meditated upon by every single member of our ISKCON society. Where are we going with our philosophy? It is not sufficient to know philosophy. It is not sufficient to know philosophy. We must also know how to apply that philosophy. Philosophy is in the realm of jnanam, cultivation of knowledge, jnanam. But the test of our knowledge is vijnanam, applied philosophy, practical application of that philosophy. So our philosophy on the spiritual platform is that we are eternal spirit souls, therefore meant to be always engaged in the devotional service of Krishna. And on the material platform, our position is that we are meant to really simplify our lives in such a way that we will not be entangled. Our main pursuit will not be, as it is for most people around the world, material progress or material development or economic development. That will be secondary. Primary will be dharma. And dharma, artha, kama, moksha. These are the natural sequences that are there. It all begins with dharma. So therefore, even materially speaking, there are prescribed activities, prescribed duties, prescribed professions. And these are the professions we will be teaching, especially in this Varnasrama college. And that is why Srila Prabhupada wanted all of our centers to have such teachings in an organized manner, so that the members of our society, those who are devotees, as well as outside people as well, congregational members, and even people who may not yet have taken to Krishna consciousness, come to know what is meant to be the more natural way of living. So, Dharma and Bhakti are in many ways one and the same. We cannot speak of Dharma without having the element of Bhakti, and that element of Bhakti needs to be there, needs to be the main focus, both in terms of Bhagavad Dharma and Varnasrama Dharma. Bhakti is the common feature of Bhagavad Dharma as well as Varnasrama Dharma. And when that common denominator of Bhakti is present, then individuals and society will advance and progress very nicely. So I hope this clarifies this point. And yes, let's see. Yeah, we have a few more minutes. We will take question number 60, which is from, this was a series of questions actually from Gunavatar Prabhu from Cambodia. When one does stick to one place for developing his prescribed duties, but not taking a chance to spreading the Sankirtan movement as being ordered by Lord Chaitanya, is this person among the level of unfortunate persons because he is too much attached with the land, cows, and his work at the farm? Is this a kind of ignorance also? Please kindly clarify this point. You see, the question is, it's a misunderstanding. It is not that when one is living in a village and engaged in activities connected with the land, with cows, that he is not spreading the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. This is also a very important aspect of spreading the movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Whatever activity we perform and wherever we may be performing those activities, it all depends on one's consciousness. And definitely developing communities for the purpose of showing to the general public that actually living this simple lifestyle, connected with land, connected with cows, is meant to be the natural and more ideal lifestyle for the vast majority of people. This is also preaching. All activities that are connected with Krishna, as Prabhupada would often explain, are also bhakti. And this is nicely explained also by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that any such activities within the system of varna and asrama, if performed for the pleasure of Krishna, then those activities do not incur karma or karmic reaction. They are also bhakti. So again, it's a question of consciousness. One may become overly attached, maybe to activities in a village, and forget about the aspect or dimension of preaching. So even in villages, Prabhupada gave specific instructions how, because our movement is a preaching movement. Wherever we may be and whatever activity or profession we may take, we must always keep in the forefront that we are a preaching movement meant in different ways to attract and bring others to Krishna consciousness. So I would say that in the present context of modern day society, in our, this has been, we could say, the tragedy of the 20th century, and continues to be the tragedy of the 21st century. Leaders around the world are unaware, unfamiliar with what is meant to be the more simple, natural lifestyle. Again, which is connected with the land. And until and unless this is taken up by leaders in different countries around the world, we will continue to see different kinds of disruptions and chaotic situations. Why? Because the basic, we could say, practices or the basic sciences, just like the science of economics. Economics, without proper economics, we cannot live properly. We cannot meet our basic needs and necessities of life. So we need to keep in mind how Vedic culture again and again stresses the importance of simplicity. Simplicity, simple living, high thinking. So the most simple of economics is given in the formula, as we have heard from the Bhagavad Gita, Krishi Gorakshavanijam Vaisha Karma Swabhavajam. Producing our own food, agriculture, natural agriculture, and the proper care and culture of cows. These two are actually the basis of natural economy. That is the simple and natural definition of Vedic economics. and therefore part of what we are meant to do as a society is to actually demonstrate, actually live this. That is one of the objectives of establishing farm communities. Farm communities were meant to actually, we could say, demonstrate or emanate what traditionally has taken place in a village context. In many ways, farm communities are meant to be a stepping stone towards establishing villages. Villages, again, is the norm. And so therefore, a vast majority, in our present context, there is, of course, a need to preach in our cities, but simultaneously, due to this very major deviation that has taken place, a very severe, major deviation of having abandoned the more simple, natural lifestyle, therefore, this also becomes very critical for us as a society to reestablish what is meant to be the norm within society. So this is also preaching. It is very important preaching. We should never minimize the importance of having devotees who will show by example, and those who are in the cities preaching, part of their preaching is also meant to explain to people in the cities that actually this is a norm. We don't have time to get into this very much now, since we're at the end of our session here, but this is covered in some presentations we have made in the past. We should be preaching in the cities in such a way that, yes, people practice Krishna consciousness wherever they may be, in whatever occupation they may have. Simultaneously, part of our preaching in the cities is to speak about the importance, the value, and the necessity, the absolute necessity to reestablish what is meant to be a more simple, sustainable lifestyle. So therefore, if one is in such a community, such a project, one should pray to Krishna to give the proper intelligence how we can utilize this as a means for attracting people and in this way preach Krishna. So thank you all very much for attending sessions. Please do continue to send different questions, and we will try to address those questions. We can all together the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Just one small last point, in case there are some new persons viewing this book, speaking about Varnasrama, we are making available all ISKCON temples around the world. We have, according to more recent statistics, some 800, or let's say close to 900 possibly, ISKCON temples or farm communities. Our ministry here in India, ISKCON Daiva Varnasrama Ministry, is offering a complimentary copy, one copy to each and every temple. You can avail of this copy in Mayapur, or we're trying to find different ways in which we can get you this copy. we consider this to be very important because the essential basic sections on the whole concept and ideology of Varnasrama Dharma has been nicely presented in this very wonderful book, which is a compilation of completely, 100%, the compilations of our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada on the topic, sometimes controversial topic, of Varnasrama Dharma. Please avail yourself of this important book, and this should be taken up. At least one devotee should be reading on a regular basis. Every temple should actually have weekly classes on the topic of Varnasrama Dharma. It's part of GBC resolutions that have been enacted, that have been passed actually some back. That is important for every devotee and for every leader, for that matter, to speak on the subject matter of Varnasrama Dharma. Thank you all very much. Jai Sri Prabhupada ki, Jai Samasta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Jai Nitai Gaur Pimanande, Hare Krishna.